Hello and welcome to Cucina Pazzo. Tonight we're going to be making some low-carb gnocchi. So very fun, easy recipe to do, and it doesn't take very long to put it together. So gnocchi is can be made out of potatoes. It can also be made out of ricotta cheese. I've seen it made out of sweet potatoes, but to make it low-carb, we're going to make it out of ricotta cheese. Ricotta in Italian means recooked. So we start out here with about, I believe this is 1 cup. 1 cup of ricotta cheese. So I think this weighed out to about 250 grams when I weighed it out. So I'm gonna pan this down so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so we got that in there. We got 1 egg. The egg in there. Okay. Just making sure that egg is mixed real good with the ricotta cheese. All right. So we're going to add a little bit of pink salt to this, a couple of turns. Okay, set that back aside. So we have oat fiber. This is oat fiber, will give it that roastiness. This is about 1/4 cup. We've got about 3/4 cups of Lupin Flour. So Lupin Flour comes from the lupini bean, excuse me, and it's very high in protein and very high in fiber. So this is really going to help with your macros to keep everything down. Don't forget the fiber that's in your diet. Fiber is so important, especially if you're eating keto or if you're eating low carb. This is how you keep the carbs down, with fiber. You got to have your vegetables. The lupini beans have a high fiber count, so they're pretty good. So again, 3/4 cup. I'm gonna put that in there. And then we have xanthan gum. So xanthan gum is going to hold everything together, kind of like cornstarch will. That's what its job is. So, but it's also low carb. And then we have a fun ingredient called sunflower lecithin, which sounds chemically made. It's not. It's just part of the leftover of sunflowers when they are producing those seeds and everything. So what this does, it absorbs fat. So it holds the fat together. So it's pretty important to keep this in this recipe. So I'm sure you could try to make it without it, but I happen to have a good sized container of it, so I'm going to use it. All right, so we go back down to the bowl. I am moving this aside because this is going to come together. We're going to get our big spoon. We're going to stir this together. So this is why I didn't use the KitchenAid mixer. I suppose you could, but want to make sure all those little bits and everything are together. This is going to form a pretty thick dough. You could scrape the sides easier, and it doesn't take very long having it come together like this. Okay. Make sure you get all the dry ingredients. Okay. Okay, this should be really stiff. So this is looking like it's supposed to. Okay. All right, and I say this in almost all of my videos. So once this comes together, doesn't matter what kind of flour you're using. It could be bread flour, it could be, you know, oat fiber, or coconut flour, it doesn't matter. Give the water a chance to absorb. It's not gonna happen in 60 seconds. You gotta give it 10 minutes, 15 minutes, a half an hour, an hour. I mean, just anything to let the water from the wet ingredients, the eggs and the ricotta, so they can combine with those flours and absorb and do what they have to do. So we are going to set this aside. I'm going to put a little paper towel over the top of it. And I am going to start on my next video because this is going to be part of dinner tonight. So I'll be back. All right, we're back at Cucina Pazzo and we are going to make some gnocchi. And I have put a little bit of oat fiber on my hands and on the surface of the board. So we're going to take our mixture here. Okay, let's grab a handful like so. Okay, kind of like you're making a meatball. Right? Put a little oat fiber on there. It is a little bit sticky. That's normal. You want it to be a little bit sticky. Try to shape it so there's no seams. Right? So you got it like so. I'm going to grab a different cutting board here. One that doesn't slide around on me. Or slide around on me as much. Okay, so you got it like that. That is maybe about as big around as your pointer finger. Okay, so about a ½ inch, I'd say. Okay, take your knife, and then you're going to cut them about 3/4 of an inch to an inch, somewhere in there. All right, so gnocchi has that shape to it. So you're gonna take your oat fiber, right? Some on your fork, okay? Okay. Give it a little press like so. So you kind of want to press down. Okay, easy peasy so far. Okay, so we got our pasta right there. I would say we probably need a little bit more for the serving that we're gonna do. Okay. Okay, and they don't have to have those shapes in there if you don't want those shapes in there. So if you just want to cut these as is, that's totally fine. So that is just fine for gnocchi. And sometimes I like to fry these. These are so delicious when they're fried. So I am going to move you over to the boiling water, and I'm going to show you how fast these cook. All right. So we got the boiling water back here. Let's see if I can get this up on there. All right. So we got our gnocchi. There is salt in the water. Don't burn yourself trying to splash these in. All right, when they start floating, they're done. Let's get a little spoon. You can see that they'll start piling up around the sides, like so. And you take these out. Make sure you get them all. Okay, then they're going to go into your sauce. Back here. That'll be part of my dinner back there.